My name is Benjamin Pardo. Welcome to NeoCon of 2010. Over the past year, Knoll has been reimagining the office landscape by working with a series of international designers, Masamichi Utagawa and Ziggy Moslinger on a series of systems products, Brian Graham on private office and open plan furnishings, Richard Sapper, technology support, and formway design on seating. We've also continued our work in the textiles arena with Rodarte, Suzanne Tick, and Dorothy Casonas.
Over the last several years, we've been pursuing a program of research called Design for Integrated Work. The model itself is really quite simple. It has three work modes: focus, share, and team. Focus is heads down work. Share is a casual exchange of information between 2 to 4 people. And teamwork is just more formally organized group activity. Another important component of the model is the social aspect of work. And we think that the social aspect of work cuts across all three of those work modes, and that's where information about the culture of the organization is shared, and that's where learning and mentoring occurs. Important to this model is how well the space, the layout, the furnishings, and the technology support the easy flow of work and people between the work modes. That's what good integrated workspace is.
I'm Ziggy Moslinger.
Hi, I'm Masamichi Utagawa, and we are Antenna Design. This year we are introducing Antenna workspaces. It's responding to the changing work style. It used to be divided between individual space and meeting space. But nowadays, lots of collaborations happens in between space.
Over the years, even in sort of cubicle setups, the horizons have been coming down lower and lower. But this facilitates not only more social interaction, but it also helps the exchange of ideas. It increases productivity, creativity, and ultimately motivates people more. While we were starting to work on this, we kept looking back at our own dining room table, which incidentally was designed by Florence Knoll. And we looked at that and we felt, well, why can an office desk not have that same kind of simplicity?
So the breakthrough came out one day when we were running along the Hudson, looking at the West Side Highway, and saw the bridge structure, which has a horizontal endless structure going on, and then simple upside down U-shaped legs supporting this endless horizontal structure. And we thought, it can be just like that. So here is our table. We have a horizontal rail. It's just standard 1.25" square tube, but we tilted 45 degrees. Below that, we have upside down U leg. And the key here is the rail and the leg don't intersect. They kind of pass each other. That allows us to extend the rail as much as we want, independently from the leg. What we had to come up with is a very compact, strong way to connect these two elements. The cradle is inspired by very simple machining tool, the V-block. So that clamps down diamond-shaped rail with 2 simple clamps. This structure also gives us flexibility in placing things. This leg can stay here or can go in to create dynamic or dramatic cantilever, and we can suspend the storage box of different kind from the rail, either outside with the leg or inside with the leg. Also, we could mount other storage units on top of the rail.
The structure is completely independent. We do not rely on tying into the desktop for structural integrity, and that freed us up to use different desktop materials. We can use glass, we can use ceramics, and of course we can use wood and laminate.
We were very inspired by early modernism, 1920s European modern masters, as well as post-war 1950 American modernism. Florence Knoll, of course, had a great part in it. And what's so intriguing to us about the things from that time it retains really strong sense of optimism.
Yeah, and if you look back at early modernism, there was a lot of color, there was a lot of variety in materials, and we really wanted to reintroduce that and have color, have different materials, different textures, so that we can really instill a different atmosphere in the workspace, one that's not so institutional, but feels more comfortable and more conducive to creative work.
This is the basic table unit of the Antenna Workspaces product line. It's a work surface, 2 legs, and a pair of rails that run on the underside. This particular table is showing a specific top type. That top is an overlay top. There's a piece of color core laminate that comes all the way to the edge and a solid wood edge banding all the way around. If we move over to this particular workstation here, there's a transition that starts to incorporate storage. Here, rather than having 2 legs, the work surface itself is being supported by a series of storage units. The interfacing element between the top and the storage unit provides the same gap. The top is a bit different. It is a plain white laminate top with an ABS edge. The radius is very much considered so that it's very tactile when a person sits down and grips it and pulls themselves forward. And it also has a certain thickness associated with it. This product, or this station I should say, is also equipped with a very simple tubular screen with a felt overlay for additional visual privacy. And one of the other things that I wanted to show you was this pull. It's an inset pull. It's either on the side or the top of the individual unit. There's an opportunity for change and specification of different color. It's quite a unique characteristic associated with the product range. If we come over here, we start to take those tops and we link them together. So we're going from individual work or the work of an individual at the table, or a group of people working at a conference table, to a series of workstations by physically, in a top-based planning idea, putting those tops together. When you're working in an open plan environment, I go from very specific task-based work to more open plan-based conversation. These storage units help me a great deal in terms of giving me the visual privacy and the acoustical privacy that I need in order to do that focus work that I want, but also these linked desktops provide me with the opportunity to talk to my neighbor or to turn using a generation chair, moving all the way back and gesticulate and get someone's attention when I want to do something that's much more about a collaborative basis for work. Coming from the linked desks, we're now at the big table. The distinction is that rather than putting the tops end to end, they're a reflected image with a center beam that provides the support for the overall table. Multiple people can work at the stations. You can get 5 feet, 6 feet, and the stations are divided with a series of very simple screens. They can either be tackable or a series of hard materials. There's a couple of heights that are available. The other thing I'd also like to point out is this great storage unit at the end. The individual rails extend further under the table, and they support this cabinet, and you can literally see them, that diamond form that's so unique associated with this product. If we walk down a little bit further, you'll see that there's an opportunity to have a series of very, very simple horizontal surfaces for storage. There's access to electrical with this flipper door so that you can get in there and make the plug to either the electrical itself or to data. There are these great cabinets associated with the product as well. These tables have a tendency to be very open in an overall space, and they leave your back kind of vulnerable. These cabinets almost become architectural columns that protect you physically from what's going on in the corridor. But there's another unit that I like very much, and it's this simple up-mounted cabinet, and it's doing something that's actually quite fun. It has an exterior of white laminate, and then there's a great pop color, a sanguine laminate. This one's particularly open. You can have binders inside and objects, but there's still an opportunity for communication. The other opportunity that you have, quite frankly, is that all this stuff can be removed, can be made into a conference table, or if you're working in a group that needs to have constant contact with a series of laptops back and forth, the table has a great deal of versatility, and it also has a great deal of capability for electrical and data. This group of stations is an example of spine-based planning using a low antenna fence. The fence divides the individual stations and provides an opportunity for intensive power and access to attachment at various points. It also gives us an opportunity to plan tops both in a perpendicular fashion and parallel to the fence itself. But what it also does is that it gives us an opportunity to work with the basic antenna unit the basic four-legged table. And that can be moved in various positions to accommodate various types of teamwork or individual work as it's required. We're also looking at an alternative up-mounted piece of storage that's done in metal. A series of screens, again, being used to provide additional privacy, both visual and acoustic. The closed storage unit. And a simple metal case with the antenna fronts and a side pull for opening it. And last but not least, a very simple template storage unit at an antenna height. This antenna configuration is using template or storage to help us divide space between workstations. It's not only providing visual privacy, but it provides us with an opportunity for data and electrical distribution. The antenna desk has a series of continuous rails that come up underneath the shelf itself and cantilever off and are supported by legs on the other side. In addition, we have one of the hard screens here. This one's a little bit more vertical in its configuration that provide both modesty and a certain amount of privacy for that heads down work when someone wants to do something very specific, task-based work. We're in an Antenna Workspace's private office. It's actually the simplest expression of the product. It's a simple desk, wood with an overlay top and chrome legs. And behind me, there is a series of two overheads. They can be specified either open or closed. These are the sliders with cane doors. The other important elements are the simple storage units themselves. To me and to the team, the design team, what was very important was to maintain a proportional relationship of 1 to 2 in terms of overall height. And also, as we look at the desk, we're always thinking about it in a series of double squares. This particular desk is 42 by 84. Finally, I want to talk to you about this very simple and straightforward Antenna Workspace's workstation for a specific reason, or a couple of reasons, because of its iconographic references and its historical references. It's made up of a very simple Florence Knoll-like box. In this case, it's shown with a Saarinen chair, the figurative form. But here, if you look at the work that Masamichi and Ziggy did, there's this wonderful S-like screen. It's done in wood, it's quite tactile, it's a natural material, which also makes reference to the material used on these doors. It's a pandanus grass cloth that was used by Florence Knoll in the late 40s and early 50s on a great deal of her credenzas.
REF is the bellwether of the wood systems industry. REF starts from the ground up. It's a storage architecture that's floor-based, and with the base and tall towers really creates an architectural presence. From there, we've enhanced the offering with new storage capabilities, including a hutch, storage towers that have not only closed but also combinations of open and closed, adding an interesting level of asymmetry to the product. And by adding jewel-like hardware and simplified, refined detailing, we're really rechristening that classic look for the modern workplace. The second vignette we're showing for REF profiles deals with taking the existing architecture of the storage pedestals and dropping it down to a 3/4 height. What that provides is the opportunity now for your primary work surface to oversail that reference height. And then we took the idea of the reference height and turned it vertically onto the wall. So this idea of a high-performance task panel with the options for accessories, for storage, and surfaces that are both tackable and writable really means now that this office becomes that hub. Your private office is your team room. That same concept then translates to the third vignette. And that's where a smaller footprint and lighter architecture is really important. So we've created a series of freestanding cabinetry, these low credenzas, which are lifted up off the ground. So they communicate a lightness and scale and a fluidity to the workplace that we feel is very modern and very appropriate. Important details for REF profiles include a sliding framed glass panel, a vertical storage tower with personal filing, and a mobile pedestal with an integrated handle and pencil tray. And now we transition from the private office to the open office, where we're showing the same exact storage componentry coming into the open office against a low panel, which really fulfills the original REF promise of total seamless integration of workplaces.
I'm seated in a multi-generation chair, another collaboration between Knoll and Formway Design. We've taken a lot of the research from the generation chair and applied it to another seating category, that being the multi-purpose chair, If we first look at the shell has a form that it contours to the body. There's a great flex in the back, and the chair also has a cantilever, so there's a great motion and fluidity of comfort, for the specific reason that this chair also provides us with the capability of 270 degrees of motion from a focused front-seated position to be able to gesticulate to someone else in the office or move into a more collaborative spirit. The chair shell is available in a series of bright pop colors along with a series of neutrals. It's also wonderfully perforated. It gives a certain lightness to the chair, allows light to pass through it, and there's an implication of movement. You can see people move through the chair. The other thing is that the chair is available with two base types, the hybrid base on casters and glides, and it's also available with a simple four-legged base on casters that will stack to 5 or 10 with a dolly. And lastly, you can also specify the chair with a very simple and straightforward fabric seat pad. Last year I worked with Richard Sapper on a series of supports for monitors and technology. We were both delighted to receive a telephone call from Paola Antonelli a number of months ago to be informed that the product line was accepted in the Museum of Modern Art Design collection. One of the new things that we're introducing this year is a support on a single post that carries 4 monitors. It provides us with a great deal of efficiency, it takes out the cacophony of all those verticals, and it's actually quite cost-effective as well. Dividends Horizon by Jeffrey Burnett and Nicholas Dojic with David Noel unites clean aesthetics and simple design in a versatile system for the changing workplace. Dividends Horizon offers good design at an affordable price, design that embraces organizational change, and extensive power and data capability. Building on the success of Dividends Horizon, this year we've enhanced the product line with several new features, including a wall system that transforms the private office using tiles, work surfaces, and storage components, shared overheads, a universal privacy screen, and modesty panel. We are also extremely pleased that Dividends Horizon has achieved Level 3 certification under the BIFMA Furniture Sustainability Standard.
The first new product is called WHIP, and this is an upholstery polyurethane. It is high durability, over 100,000 double rubs, high cleanability, and has a very soft hand and leather-like appeal. Moving on to privacy curtains, we have 2 new privacy curtains in the line. This is called Courtship and Trace. And this is really geared towards the healthcare market, but it also has multi-use. It can be used not only for privacy curtains, but as window treatment and top of the bed. Next is a wonderful new product designed by Suzanne Tick, and it's part of our screenplay collection. And it's really a very unusual in that it's the first 100% Earth-Tex thermoplastic polyolefin multi-use product in the market. This PVC fabric collection provides an architectural aesthetic as well as excellent acoustical properties, extreme durability, and easy cleanability. So where Knoll Textiles ends, Knoll Luxe begins, and we are launching our 3rd collection for Knoll Luxe, which was designed by the fashion house of Rodarte. And behind that label are the 2 sisters, Kate and Laura Molivi. I worked with Kate and Laura for almost 18 months to develop 5 upholstery patterns and 3 new drapery patterns for the line. I worked with 6 different mills in 5 countries around the world, and each upholstery fabric incorporates many types of fibers. You have mohair, silk and cotton, a beautiful hand-guided embroidery, and a beautiful, pretty amazing, unique, custom space-dyed boucle wool that creates this pattern called Whitman. And here we have something that is very large scale and organic, a combination of silk and cotton, and I'm also very happy to say that this is woven in the United States. This is one of the draperies that Rodarte designed for us, and it's called Auden. And it's actually based on one of their signature looks that they do within their world. And it's all about hand dyeing and dip dyeing to create a beautiful ombre effect. So the challenge for us was, how do you take that idea and put it into a drapery that's really meant for residential or high-end corporate use? And how we did this was to digitally print 6 colors with no repeat to create this very sort of serene and ethereal sweep of color within each colorway. One other drapery they've designed for us is called Emerson, and that is based on beading effects within their work. And the challenge there, again, was how to take that concept and put it into a drapery that is correct for an interior space. So we worked with a wonderful mill in Germany that was, again, embroidering on a very sheer ground to create a very precise and pristine small dot effect. The third and final drapery is called Parker, and that is based on another signature look for Rodarti, which is all about their knitted dresses and sweaters. And again there, that look for them is very abstract, lots of different materials, lots of different fibers they use, and we created a drapery that speaks to that language, but again sort of drilled down to an idea that is within our world of interiors.
I hope you enjoyed our tour together today at NeoCon 2010. Please come and visit us at one of our local showrooms or on the internet.